As you guys look over euthanasia, there's a couple things I'd like you to pick out of these stories. One of the authors is pro-euthanasia, the other is against it. The author who's against euthanasia argues that if someone commits suicide, you are depriving them of their future, right? And he says that life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness are written in that way because life comes before liberty and the pursuit of happiness. So one is not at liberty to euthanize themselves or end their lives prematurely because you have to have life before you could ever talk about liberty or the pursuit of happiness. Okay, that is interesting. But many people would argue that if they are miserable or they're feeling so bad that they cannot enjoy life, they should be able to terminate it. I don't know if life really comes before liberty and the pursuit of happiness, which sounds kind of funny. Obviously, we're not always free to pursue happiness, and we're not always at liberty to do whatever we want. But it does seem like if someone's really miserable and suffering, they should be able to be put down or let go if they want to. However, the author disagrees with that and says that that should never be the case, that one should always have to suffer on. The other author argues that euthanasia is fine, and his argument is one of mercy and a utilitarian argument, really. He argues that if people are really suffering, and he gives the example of Jack, who's suffering in the hospital, they should be able to end their life if they so choose. So his is one of mercy, and the idea goes that if a dog was suffering and in immense pain, we would put the dog down. Yet we don't afford humans the same compassion that we would afford a dog. And he says it is a utilitarian argument and the greatest good that people are allowed to end their lives early if they are suffering and in great pain. It is good for them, and it reduces the amount of suffering in the world. Remember, utilitarianism is always about the greatest good for the greatest number, and pleasure over pain, happiness over unhappiness. So it makes logical sense that if somebody wants to end their life, we should allow them to do so. In this one, you're going to have to debate the pros and cons of allowing or deciding not to allow suicide. Anyway, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Bye.